Thorny, as we venture into the R&R, two truths are consistent. We love our dear Montana state, and we love great beer. And you know who else feels the same? Jeremiah Johnson Brewing. Brewed in the heart of Montana in downtown Great Falls, Jeremiah Johnson takes Montana's finest ingredients to craft some of Montana's favorite beers. And now, Jeremiah Johnson's second tap room is open in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Their Citra IPA is probably one of my favorites. But we all know, Thorny, you're not the hop lover I am. You're more of a mountain man Scotch ale.
Well, Foley, I'm certainly not a mountain man, but you are right. I do love their Mountain Man Scotch Ale. But come game day, you and I are both cracking their Golden Bobcat Pale Ale. So when you're looking for a quality craft beer brewed with Montana roots, a relaxing tap room, or just a six-pack to take to your favorite Bobcat tailgate, Jeremiah Johnson delivers. Make your next beer a Jeremiah Johnson, and as always, go Cats.
Welcome, everybody, to the R&R Catcast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy. Welcome back, Bobcat fans. Thanks for joining us. We are the Ryans of the R&R Catcast, the Montana State affiliate of the Big Sky Podcast Network. We are happily brought to you by Jeremiah Johnson Brewing, brewed in the heart of Montana in downtown Great Falls. And they have another tap room over here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Thorny, it's been a while. It's good to be back on the R&R. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing great. It has been a long time. I've been in the middle of a move. I've been communicating with you throughout this entire process. I'm barely even unpacked over here. I just found my microphone buried in a box. I can't even find the computer cable to my laptop. Somehow it got separated, but I got the laptop. I got the new microphone. I got the adapter. I'm talking to you. It feels good, man. It feels really good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Tell me one thing. Are you still recording in a garage?
Nope. I have my own space now, although this is not going to be the permanent space moving forward, but it is currently unoccupied, so I'm taking advantage of it.
That's good news.
Yeah,
At least you won't
exciting.
be cold in the winter.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone knew that. I recorded in the middle of my cluttered garage at my previous location, and I had to deal with a loud furnace, and I had to also freeze. So I'm pretty excited to be inside with carpet and heat. Pretty excited.
Well, I'm glad you moved in. I'm glad everything went well, and I'm glad that we can actually connect on the R&R again. It feels good. So we're going to hit it, man. We have some stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to really discuss, as always, what we're drinking in our golden coolies. We're going to talk about the National Signing Day. We're going to talk about the spring schedule that was put out about a month ago. And then
We're a little behind on that.
Last but not least, we're going to talk, we're going to take some golden coolie questions.
I don't even know where my coolies are, so I do have a beer sitting here, but it's naked. It feels weird having a naked beer here. You finally converted me to Koozie Town, and now that I don't have one, it's like, oh man, this is just awful.
Do I need to send you another one?
No, they're in a random box in the mini dozens and dozens of boxes in the garage, which are not all properly labeled because I'm just terrible at these kinds of things.
Gotcha.
It always seems like a good label at the time, and then you're like, what is in this box? What does that mean? Who wrote that? Oh, I wrote that. Well, I don't know what it means.
All right, man. So what are you drinking tonight, Thorny?
So I picked myself up a Scuttlebutt Amber Ale from, Scuttlebutt Brewing Company down in Everett. It's pretty damn good amber. Have you ever had this?
I think I have.
I'd put it on par with like the Alaska Amber. It's right around that grouping. Maybe not quite as good, but it's very solid. It's always a good choice. Plus Scuttlebutt, pretty sweet name.
Yeah, you've had them on before.
I have. I don't think I've had anything else of theirs. I've seen them in the stores, but I believe I have had this Scuttlebutt Amber on this show before.
Do you have any new breweries in your new hometown?
I think there is one brewery in town. It's a fairly small town. I have certainly not been anywhere yet. I've been running around trying to get a Christmas tree here last minute, so certainly haven't had time to look at a brewery. Coming soon, though. I'm excited.
Nice, man.
How about you? What are you drinking over there?
Yep. Let's see. I have the Sierra Nevada Celebration Fresh Hop IPA. So it's their 2020 celebration. For years now, Sierra Nevada puts out a celebration beer right around Christmas time. In fact, I was gifted a 12 pack once one year when I was a young professional for for my birthday. My birthday is December 11th, so it falls right around in the holiday season. I like fresh hop IPAs. It was cool to see that this iteration was a fresh hop IPA. Uh, it's pretty much on par with a lot of things that they put out. It's really hoppy. I like that. It's delicious. And it's in their typical burgundy kind of Christmas themed bottle. So good stuff. Good stuff out of here, Nevada. They hardly disappoint me.
Yep, they make consistently good brews for sure.
For sure, man.
Man, this is almost a little weird, huh? It's like we're just right into it. We're just flowing right in like it hasn't been months.
Right on. It is a little weird. It's like, okay, now we have to plan this thing
Yeah.
out and go through some stuff. And well, we got the beer checked off. Check.
Yep, check.
And
Check box 1.
all right, man. Well, let's get right into the National Signing Day. It happened I think it was last Wednesday, December 16th. I might be wrong on the day, but it was the first official signing day of the year for us. There's two of them. Ryan, do you know when we started the early signing day?
I don't remember. I remember being a day I couldn't hardly get any work done because it's early Christmas for football fans, but I do not remember exactly what day that was. So aren't we prepared?
Oh man, it was hard for me at work. So I'm a teacher, and then you have the online classes starting, and then I'm just my phone sitting next to my computer, and I normally don't have my phone next to my computer. I'm totally engaged with my students, but man, I was just watching all these recruits come in. Montana State just put out such a cool graphic with the iPhone and how they introduced their players. It was just really engaging, and it was really hard for me to focus in on my teaching duties for
Yep.
that day.
We got to give a shout out to the social media crew over there, Garrett Becker, Dawson, forgive me here, Arensdorf, and Jack Murray. All the guys involved. Really cool graphics with the little texting. Are you in? I just love the personalized little videos they put out. Even a little brief little thing. You got to see a little bit of the personality of the guys. Really cool. So really good job. Really good job, guys. There we go.
Well, let's do this. How about we name first? Let's just state all the players. We'll go by Montana first, and then we'll go out of state second, and then I think you and I wanted to get into our top three. That just stood out to us.
Sounds good. Why don't you
All
kick
right,
us off?
all right. We'll start with the Montana players. We have Eli Abbey, a safety, 6'1", 185 out of Laurel, Montana. We have a late signing, Junior Bergen, excuse me, wide receiver, athlete, 5'11", 170 out of Billings, Montana. That's senior Billings, senior, not Billings West. The next guy, Paul Brott, is from Billings West, defensive line. Another Brott brother. There's a fun alliteration right there for you. 6'3", 245. I mean, these guys are going to put on a ton of weight. I don't even know why we're saying the weight and the height right now, but it's there, right? We have Cade Cutler. He's an athlete, 6', 185 out of Phillipsburg. A lovely town, Phillipsburg. Love that town. Neil Daly, outside linebacker, 6'3", 215, Billings West. Started his career over at Sentinel. So that's a kind of a fun thing for him to play in that championship game at the very end. Kenneth Iden, the fourth outside linebacker, projected maybe as a buck in for us, 6'1", 230, coming out of Bozeman. We have another Bozeman guy, Luke Fedek, inside linebacker, 6'1", 200. And finally, rounding up your Montana lineup, we have Jace Fitzgerald, brother of Mr. Josh Fitzgerald. I'm saying that wrong.
RJ.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, Josh.
Sorry, RJ.
Yes, I know. Sorry, RJ. I love RJ Fitzgerald. That guy can hit, man. 6'2", 210. Dylan, Montana. Producing again. Good old Dylan.
Well, don't mispronounce his name. He'll come and hit you.
Please don't.
Also, you are forgetting Elijah Reynolds from 6'4", 245, tight end out of Red Lodge.
Nice.
Don't think you had him in there.
Nope.
All right, so that's great crop of Montana guys. Let's read through the list of our out-of-state signees. We have Sean Austin, quarterback, 6'2", 185 from Kuna, Idaho. You told me that. Is that how you say that word?
Kuna.
Kuna?
Kuna.
Like it's a Q?
Kuna.
Yeah, I don't like it. Zach Black,
Kuna.
defensive lineman, 6'4", 260 up out of Meridian, Idaho. Strong class from Idaho yet again. We got Titan Fleischman, offensive lineman, 6'4", 260 out of Pocatello, right out of Idaho State's backyard. Tyson Pottinger, a safety, 6'2", 190 out of Coeur d'Alene. Got Aaron Gurley, defensive lineman. He is 6'2", 265 out of Greenway, Arizona. Hunter Parsons, a 6'3", 225-pound linebacker out of Sparks, Nevada. I've been to Sparks. It's a lovely town. We have Dice Shepard, tight end, 6'4", 240 out of Gillette, Wyoming. And then we have Noah Smith, wide receiver, 6'3", 190 out of Joshua, Texas. I missed a wide receiver. We got Andrew Patterson, wide receiver, 5'10", 175 out of Goodyear, Arizona. Simon, is that how you say it? Is it Simon Woodard? Cornerback. Simeon. There we go. Simeon Woodard, cornerback, 5'10", 170 out of San Antonio, Texas. And then finally, we have a mid-year enrollee. I'm not entirely sure what this means in Canada. I believe he went to the College Veneer Prep School. I guess it's kind of like the prep schools down here, which I don't fully understand here either. Either way, I believe he's actually a freshman. Cole Snyder, offensive lineman, 6'6", 285 from Calgary, Alberta. I believe that rounds out the out-of-state, out-of-country list.
So those of you who are keeping track at home, that's 10 Montanans, 4 Idahoans, 7. Am I writing? She's 2 kids from Arizona, 2 kids from Texas, 1 Canadian, 1 Wyomingian? Is that how you say it? I don't know. 1 Oregonian. And we do have 1 Californian. It didn't show up on the stat sheet, but I think that's still Max Lindsay, who listeners, if they were listening back to us last year, Max Lindsay was actually a signee last year, but had some, I don't know, maybe academic stuff that he wasn't eligible. Anyways, he's stuck with us. He's still coming.
So that's the Oregon guy you're talking about?
No, Max Lindsay, yeah. Californian.
Well, no, he's Oregon, pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know who our Californian is then.
I was wondering who the Oregon one, because you said Oregonian. I don't even see anything on my sheet here. You sprung one on me because you're not looking at the document. So let's carry on.
Yeah, there's some mystery men out there.
Well, it's very interesting because this is the first class that we, recruiting class during this whole COVID thing. Clearly it was regionalized. A lot of Montana kids, Idaho, some Nevada, just kind of some closer landmass areas. What do you think of the geographical nature of the recruiting class, and do you think how big of impact did COVID have on that?
Well, I thought it had a direct impact on it. I mean, you're not going to be able to go out and do as much travel. You're not going to bring as many guys in. Although when you listen to Jeff Choate, every one of these people that they signed did come onto campus. But it doesn't surprise me that we're starting to see some new traction in Arizona with Jimmy Beal. Idaho continues to be a strong producer for us with Jeff Choate's ties over there, as well as Potter's ties, our tight ends coach. He has some Idaho ties as well. It's good to see Texas still being mined down there. First guy from Calgary, from Canada that I can remember. But
yeah, same here.
You look at the Montana kids, by all means, this was a strong Montana crop. I know the school on the other side of the divide got a good haul from the Montana kids too. I think 25 kids from Montana went Division I. I might be wrong on that, but it seems to be something I remember Coulter Nuanez saying. But yeah, it just seems a little bit closer to the vest this year, as far as geography goes. But some really good looking kids.
Well, I think Choate said at one point, it's kind of like you have to kind of recruit the guys you already know or familiar with, because there's not going to be camps. I don't think they held any of the camps where a lot of out-of-state guys in particular would come and fly in and take part of the camps that the MSU puts on. So you kind of had to just kind of go with guys you already maybe were familiar with or had connections to. And you kind of see this across the board, just connections or regional. Those are kind of what we're looking at here. So like you said, Jimmy Beal, are you recruiting some of the guys? I believe Andrew Patterson, Goodyear, Arizona, right in the, where Jimmy Beal was at the previous job at Northern Arizona, so that would make sense. They had relationships there. I believe Aaron Gurley was another one, Greenway, Arizona. So we got a couple kids out of that. So COVID had to just massively impact things, and you wonder if both programs, Montana and Montana State, ended up signing more Montana kids than they would have normally, just to kind of fill some spots out or maybe get some guys on partial, because you can get some of those Montana kids with little to no money sometimes. So very interesting curriculum class. I have no idea how this is all going to work out with basically everyone on the roster not burning any of their eligibility. So it's just going to be a log jam. There's going to be some big rosters. Don't know what's going to happen there, but yeah, just very, very interesting strategies that you just see across the country and how schools are handling COVID and recruiting.
One of the things that jumped out to me, a couple of things that jumped out to me with this recruiting class. One is Montana State is putting an emphasis on recruiting to their cat mentality. I don't know.
Right cat.
Yeah, the right cat. It is like a formula they have, which they look for in all these different avenues of character, toughness. You go down the list, but one of the things that's really stood out to me is just how strong they are in academics. I mean, the guys just coming from the Montanans, they have an average of a 3.6 GPA. And when you look at these kids, as Jeff Choate talked about them in the signing day, so many of them are multiple all-state academic over and over. And another thing that jumped out to me, Thorny, is these guys are not just football players. So many of them are multi-sport letters in their respective high schools. It's really cool. It's cool to see.
Yeah, you got to love the emphasis on that. And I think Choate also said like almost all these guys were either like, there's a lot of champions on here. You got your state champions or your runners up, just guys that were playing at the highest level in their respective high schools. And, that's certainly something Choate really values when he's looking for recruits. All right. Well, maybe we kind of listed all the recruits there. Just in general, what are your overall thoughts on the class before we kind of dig in a little deeper? We're not going to dig real deep because we said it last time we did this. We don't know anything about recruiting. I can watch huddle films all day and not know exactly what it means to have like fluid hips as a defensive back. So, what do you think of overall? Did we kind of hit where you wanted us to hit? Did we kind of maybe fill some areas you thought that we're going to need or we're going to need in a few years? Just kind of your general thoughts. Is this class what you would have hoped for?
It seems really balanced as far as position goes. We don't have, we didn't take a lot of running backs because we're deep at running backs, but you see a lot of guys in the trenches, and that's something you're going to have to develop every year. So I'm happy with that. It does seem to me that we had a good amount of speed in this class. When you're watching the tapes, like some just burners, like Andrew Patterson. He's a 10-7 guy in the 100-meter dash out of Goodyear, Arizona. He's going to be able to take the top off the field at the wide receiver position. A guy like who was I watching just earlier out of 8-man football? This is really good. Cade Cutler out of Phillipsburg, Montana. Another just fast guy, but a strong athlete. And so, in short, what I'm saying is just the speed jumps out to me. It seems like this is a little bit more of a dialed approach than we've had in the past. I mean, our first couple classes, right? Jeff Choate's just take everybody who has a pulse and see who works out.
And those are Jeff Choate's words.
Yeah, right.
He's around record saying that.
We're year 5, and so we don't need to do that. We can be more selective. And I think they got guys that fit Montana State who want to be Bobcats, fit our culture, and are going to be able to produce.
I agree. Yeah, I think it was a good class. Like you said, it's balanced. It looks like a little bit of a defensive focus on that. Got some linebackers. I don't know where the athletes are going to end up. Like Cade Cutler, you just mentioned, he's listed as an athlete. I have no idea where he projects in college. But you continue to see Jeff Choate recruit athletes, versatility. So I love that about it. You got some offensive linemen, which I know we kind of didn't sign too much last year because we kind of almost skipped a year. So it's good to see us because we were so deep there and we had so many guys. So now it's good to kind of get back in there. So I think it hit on everything you want. You got your quarterback. It seems a little odd that we don't have a running back considering how much we run the ball, but I know we have a ton of dudes there right now. But never hurts to have a freshman phenom waiting in the wings. So overall, I'm pleased with the class. I'm really, really excited about the talent of the Montana class in particular. It was a really good year for Montana high school athletes, and I think we got a really good crop of them.
One thing that jumps out to me that I hadn't thought about until now is none of these guys I see starting next fall.
That's the sign of a program, right? Like you don't need the freshman phenom to come save you because you don't have any wide receivers. Like how many times did that happen during even like Ash's tenure?
Yeah, right.
One guy that I specifically remember, Deshaun Thomas. You remember him?
Yeah,
he was a great wide receiver, but ended up he had a freshman phenom year, and by the time he was a junior, he was kind of almost phased out because he was out recruited, recruited to replace him, kind of thing. Or I think he also may have been a little injured. But the point is, like, we started actually getting guys in there and some transfers, and things kind of started working out. But you don't need the freshman to come in there and just play because basically there's no one else there to play. You don't need that anymore. So like, ideally, you don't have any guys in your recruiting class. Freshmen don't even really see the field until maybe at best freshmen, redshirt freshmen special teams, and they start working their way on the field as a starter, maybe as a sophomore. That's kind of the ideal situation.
Yeah, it just proves to show where we're at as a program right now. Year 5, I think the ball is rolling. We are in a good spot.
All right. Well, now that we've kind of gone the broad angle, who are you most excited about? Maybe like a top 2, 3, 4. I don't know if we need to put a number on it, but who really just caught your attention as a guy you're excited to see as a Bobcat?
The first guy is Andrew Patterson, the wide receiver, 5'10", 175 out of Goodyear, Arizona. One thing that just, speed. Like I said, he's 10.7, 100 meters. He has...
For reference, like Troy Anderson's what, like a 10.88?
I don't know that, but I'd be interested to know that now.
I'm pretty sure Troy was about a 10.8, high mid 10.8, so he's faster than Troy, straight line anyway.
Not only
non
that,
pads though. That's always the question. Non pads, but that's fast though. That's track speed. That's elite track speed.
Yeah. When you watch him catch the ball, the way he tracks the ball looked a lot like Kevin Cassis to me. So his speed is better than Kevin Cassis. The way he tracks the deep ball looks like Kevin Cassis.
Are you referring to that in the huddle video when he caught like the over the shoulder thingy in the corner?
Okay, so that's the
classic. That's
that's the very first play. But if you make it past the first 10 plays in that huddle video, it's the same over and over again. He has great eyes, great like body control while dialing in that ball. It just makes me excited to see him. So he's my top guy. I was like pretty high on. Another guy that just jumped out to me was Tyson Pottinger, the defensive back out of Coeur d'Alene. He's 6'2". One that's a big. I don't know. Maybe that's a little big for a.
If he's a safety, that's about right. If he's a safety, because I know like Ryan Force and all those, like Kramer always had like 6'2" safeties, like always.
Yeah. Well, he was not playing safety in the film, and so he was on the outside. So, but yeah, that size, he's 180, that 6'2" size does transfer well. Choate knows his dad played with him at Western, and so like he had a definite in on him. He's a top. He was a 2020 top scholar. So this kid is insanely smart.
Is that the kid that they asked like, "Hey, put on 30 pounds and we'll talk"? Is that him?
I don't know.
Did you read that article?
No, I don't know.
I think that was Tyson Pottinger. I'm gonna Google that while you keep talking.
Anyways, he plays in his film. He played both sides of the ball, so he has some hands. He had separation as a receiver as well as making some just smart plays as a defensive back. I think he's going to be a guy that projects. To me, it looks a little bit like a young Braden Conkle. And just has that kind of dog mentality. Just has the it factor that I liked when I saw that. I don't know what popped to me, but I just like the kid. I just got a good feeling about him.
Yeah, so he played at around 5'11", 145 as a junior, and college coaches told him that, yeah, get up to about 170 or 180, and we'll start recruiting you. Now he's 6'2", 190. Is that what he's listed at?
Yeah, so that's some growth.
Yep, just a little bit. You gotta love the late bloomers. Like, that's the guys that really FCS programs can really get a hold of. Guys that like all of a sudden just came out of nowhere in their senior year before recruiting ever really caught cut up to them, and then they fall over to FCS program, and that's where some of the guys, superstars, really come from.
Yeah. I love it, man. And just the fact that like Choate and his dad are thicker than thieves, like best friends, played at
I like
Western.
that.
Yeah.
Was it Jeff Choate then that told him to put 30 pounds on? I could see that conversation. That'd be a fun conversation to be a part of.
Man, I would love, just like a little side note, I would love for Jeff Choate to come into my house and like sell one of my sons and come into play for the Bobcats. That would have been a done deal anyways.
Yeah, of course.
But man, I just to see, I would pay money just to watch Jeff Choate talk to some of these guys, just
Sure.
to see the message and confidence. Because Jeff Choate, he is not lacking in confidence at all.
Nope.
His bravado is at an all-time high right now.
Yeah, it really is. You've seen him kind of grow into that. He's definitely not camera, like he wasn't ever camera shy, but now he definitely just, whatever he wants to say, he says it.
All right, Thorny, give me your top two, man.
Top two.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'm really excited, and then we kind of talked about this beforehand, so we kind of divvied up who got to talk about who, I guess, really. But man, I'm super excited about the Montana class, and I'm really excited about Kenneth Iden. I have been for a long time. I didn't know if he would sign with the Cats. He's maybe a guy that maybe could have gone to a bigger program if not for COVID. He might have gone to some camps and got himself some more visibility. He's done a great job marketing himself on Twitter. But man, he's got just lower body strength like I haven't really seen out of a high school recruit. He just is absolute dominant. I haven't really seen a player like dominate on the defensive side of the ball like that in Montana for a long time. So I'm super excited to see him as a Bobcat. They have him listed as the edge, so like you said, maybe he'll be the buck end. I don't really know where he's going to end up at, but at 6'1", 230, I honestly think he translates. He could probably play day one. I hope he doesn't have to. We do need some pass rushing, so maybe he'll get an opportunity as a true freshman. I don't think so. Like you said, I don't know if any of these guys will, but I think he'd be at the top of the list of guys who might. So I'm really excited about Kenneth Iden. Super stoked.
Yeah, he's a second-generation Bobcat. His dad, Ken, played for us from 1988 to 1991. One thing Jeff Choate said about Kenneth Iden the fourth is he reminds him of Dane Fletcher. Dane Fletcher-esque is the word from the coach's mouth. That's high praise.
I would be
right
ecstatic if we got Dane Fletcher too here.
Whew. You know what's interesting? At the later part of this whole recruiting process, you saw Kenneth Iden become like this player recruiter for all the other guys. Like he's out there on the Twitter sphere just tweeting at people.
Love guys
Let's
like
go.
That. I love guys like that.
Right? Just happy to be a Bobcat.
Like that's how that whole like first Texas class got up here. Like Denarius McGee, a couple guys signed on. They pretty much convinced the rest of them to all go up there, and like 20 Texas kids come up to Montana to play some football. You gotta love guys who buy in and just are stoked and get other guys to come with them. The other guy, the late signee guy, I hadn't watched any film on or anything until we actually committed to the Cats. Junior Bergen, 5'11", 170, Billings senior. The dude is ridiculous. His film is kind of ridiculous. 5'11", 170, he just is mowing people over. He's impossible to get to the ground. He has really good strength, really good balance. The first play, of course, he's dragging fellow recruit Neil Daly on his back and just shucks him like a heavy blanket and keeps on running. I'm sure Neil doesn't want that highlight out there in the world anymore, but one of the craziest runs you'll see. And I mentioned that just to point out that the guys he's breaking the tackles of aren't just like no-name guys. Like this is Neil Daly is a guy I could put in the top 5 total recruits on his own. Choate said maybe in a normal year, he might even be a guy that gets some Mountain West interest. So
he was the 2020 Eastern AA defensive MVP.
Yeah. See, that's why I've been so focused with this move. I haven't had to do as much research as I could. So there you go. Thank you. That's a great addition. So yeah, he's dragging that guy around. It's no easy task. His strength is just crazy for 5'11", 170. I think, man, if he gets up to like 175 or 180 and he's already as strong as he is, he's going to be a force. So I'm really excited about him. I had never seen any film. It blew me away. I think the kid's going to be a star.
Where do you think he fits in the Bobcat program?
Slot, maybe like a Willie Patterson type situation, but maybe get some more balls thrown his way if we start throwing more balls, I guess. But he could also be a guy I actually see getting some end arounds, some carries, some punt returns, some special team stuff. What do you think?
Yeah. So exactly what you thought. Like the guy who's going to take the fly sweep on the edge and take it for some, or maybe like a guy who could like, I don't know.
He
Maybe I
could
was
run the
gonna-
Wildcat quarterback. He
Yeah,
did that
I
in
was
plenty in the video. Like if you want, we have some, like,
just about to say that.
because in the fall scrimmage we had Derek Snell kind of run it. We've been doing it with big dudes and it'd be interesting to see a Wildcat kind of situation with like Junior Bergen come in, and then that could be very interesting. So I think he could be kind of a Swiss Army knife offensive player. You put him wherever you need him.
Who's the quarterback this year? We have him listed as a wide receiver, but he played quarterback for Billings.
Did he play it full time or just some?
That I don't know.
I think
we're
it
over
is
here
some.
in Washington. We don't get the film. So
Yeah. So those are the top two guys I'm really excited about. Man, it's just a good class. I'm excited. All right, so we kind of gave you our top hitters there. Who's one guy that you think could be a guy that surprises? Like, who's your kind of like diamond in the rough kind of guy?
I think Kid Cutler out of Phillipsburg. 8-man, he's going to have to adjust to that. But I think anytime you get a small town guy who might be one of the best players in the state, even though he plays at 8-man, I just love those stories. And so I think he's a guy that's just going to grind it out. Love to be a Bobcat. By the time he's a junior, senior, he's just going to be kind of one of those all conference guys.
Can't argue with that. Can never have too many Montana athletes on your roster. It's exciting Montana class. So I want to pick another Montana guy here, but I want to say I'm also extremely excited about Aaron Gurley, defensive lineman from Greenway. I think he's going to be a solid player. He's already at 6'2", 265 coming in. That's a good size. He was dominant at his position. I'm excited to see what he can do. But the guy that I think Gurley is kind of be a top choice for a lot of people. I think the guy that I think could really surprise people, Eli Abbey. I'm pretty sure it's Abbey. I think he said Abby, but I watched his little Twitter signing day thing. I think it's Abbey. But anytime that he draws any sort of comparison to Braden Conkle from Jeff Choate, you got my attention right there.
You're right.
6'1", 185 coming out of high school. He's a big kid. He's going to be safety. His film actually, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Jordan Fuller in his stature, like just kind of a bigger, because Fuller was a big kid. So I'm pretty excited to see what he can do. I think he's got a little bit more size than maybe Braden Conkle, maybe around the same size, but I'm pretty excited to see what he can do as a safety in a few years down the road.
It's exciting to think about where we're heading.
Absolutely. This is a good class. I don't know how it's all going to work with COVID, like I said, with all the other players on the roster still having scholarships. So anyway, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in a few years with this class. Well,
the best thing that we could hope for is that we don't get to see them in the next 2 years. That we you just hear that they're just stuck in the weight room, putting in their duties, and that we've built the program enough that the young guys are now just waiting their turn and just still buying in. I think that's where we're at. It seems to me like this class is that we got a lot of long, rangy guys that are obviously going to put on weight, but some real ballers out there. So let's tie a bow on this class. I know we're probably going to get a couple more in the late signing period. And just in the final thought on this, I really like the early signing period. I think the majority of the guys that we get will always now sign at this beginning class. And we'll probably hold off with some maybe like FBS hopefuls or maybe some transfer portal kind of dudes on the back end. But I love to see this initial class come in, and I was definitely not disappointed.
Sounds good. Sounds great. Well, like I said, let's put a bow on it. And what do you want to move into? Let's talk a little bit about the spring schedule that's been set out by the Big Sky Conference quite a while ago at this point. At least a month ago. I don't even know.
Oh, man.
Old news at this point.
Yeah, so if you haven't, go on to Big Sky, bigsky.com or bigskyconference.com, or if search on their Twitters, the Big Sky football, and you will see a infographic of what is it? I'm going to count it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games that are presented for the Big Sky. That is, and listed to start on February 27th and run through April 17th. That is an open week. That last week is April 17th. And that's because of, if we have to have a COVID or situation where everything is canceled, they are going to go ahead and reschedule that for that last week.
They have a 6-game schedule there fully.
I can count. I'm a math teacher.
You're a math teacher.
Two open weeks. There we go. That's right. 2 open weeks.
There's 8 weeks, but only 6 of them are filled. Like you said, they leave a couple open. First,
I wasn't looking at the games. I was just looking at the dates. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
there
fine.
You go.
Hot take. What's your thought? What's your initial, without putting any thought in it, what's the first thing you think about?
Unfair.
Yeah.
Tell them why.
I don't know if it's unfair, but I would say MSU got one of the hardest draws in having Weber State, the Grizz, and Eastern all on the schedule. And yeah, I don't think anybody else plays the cream of the crop the same situation we do.
They don't play. So all of those are top 20 teams in the current FCS rankings. No team besides Montana State plays 3 ranked teams. At most 2.
Yeah. That's all right. We had a relatively easy schedule this last year, at least a conference schedule. We gave ourselves a couple of good out-of-conference games, but, the pendulum's going to swing back and forth. Some teams seem to never have the bad schedule for whatever reason, but every other year the Cats, because we always have the Grizz, number 1, so there's always going to be the Grizz. So that alone makes our schedule typically more challenging than the most every year, but it's a rough schedule too because start off traveling to Davis, then we turn around and fly out to Ogden. So the first 2 games are on the road. Then we have a break in Northern Colorado back at home. Then the bye week, and then the second slate of games. Same for everybody. Then we got to go to Missoula. Then we finally end it with Eastern at home, and then Idaho State at home at the very end. So 3 home games, 3 away games, like every other team. And most of we have the Eastern at home, but the other 2 games against the top 20 teams are on the road too. So not even home games. So difficult schedule, and the difficult games are on the road. So tough schedule for sure.
Juxtapose that with Weber State. Weber State plays Idaho State first, then they play us, which is by far the toughest game. We're going to win. Jay Hill, you're going down this year. I'm tired of this. We're going to beat Eastern. We're going to beat Weber. Done. Those are the mountains that Jeff Choate has to climb.
That's true. That's a whole nother podcast to talk about.
Right.
What hurdles remain.
Okay. Again, so start off Idaho State in the Dome. Okay, cool. They have the Bobcats at home, play Northern Arizona, play Southern Utah, play Northern Colorado, play UC Davis. If you're a Weber State Wildcat right now and you saw that coming, you're giving yourself fist pumps. That is a cakewalk into the postseason right there.
Well, Southern Utah has a pretty easy schedule too. I'm just looking through here real quick. They got Cal Poly, Northern Colorado, Idaho State, then they got Weber, and they have NAU and Idaho.
Yeah, there you go.
Too bad Southern Utah isn't typically very good, and also is not going to be the Big Sky Conference very much longer. They are out by 2022.
Peace out.
To the WAC, the reformed WAC. Yeah.
They have to wait till 2022?
Maybe it's 2021. I don't remember, but these things usually aren't as quick as you would like them to be.
Give them
North Dakota was still playing like conference games like last year, right?
Yeah. Good point.
They were like
so weird.
They were the conference team that wasn't in the conference for like 3 years.
Let's get out of there.
So what do you think of just the format? What do you think of what the Big Sky Conference did to try and get a spring schedule in? Noticing that most of the first week of games are either at a warmer location or in a dome, trying to avoid the frigid temperatures of a lot of the programs in this crazy Big Sky Conference.
Well, the fan in me likes it, right? Because okay, we got football game. We got something to look forward to. We have a date, February 27th, that is on the calendar. When you start thinking about this in real terms, there's no way Montana State is going to sacrifice the well-being of their star players in jeopardy of the fall season. And we're going to get into that. I don't want to talk about that explicitly right now. However, I would have liked to seen probably maybe a schedule of 3 games or maybe 2 games or 1 game in the fall instead of this that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I see both sides of that. It was just Are you talking like kind of what North Dakota State did? You're kind of jealous of that situation where they got like one game in?
Well, that and I kind of think we missed out on the rhythms of fall football too. I mean, when you have something that's as entrenched as football in the fall, and then you buck that system, and now you have to gear up for this pseudo important schedule season. It counts, but really, I don't know. It's weird, right? It just feels different. We might be seeing its praise come March 27th. And we're like, oh man, it is awesome to have football back. It is Cat Grizz week. We are riding high. This is going to be so much fun. Or we might be saying, yeah, it is what it is. We've been watching a whole bunch of backups, and I don't know. It's interesting, but I don't know. So there's a lot of question marks still for me, but I would have rather seen the Cats, the Grizz, whoever else play a couple games in the fall, and then just say, okay, we're going to just treat the spring as a normal spring, get ready for fall 2021.
I do like how the Big Sky Conference was unified in their decision. So basically, nobody's playing out of conference games. We're doing spring. Nobody play a damn game that's not in 20. Nobody play a damn game in 2020, basically. So that way, one team didn't have two out of conference games, and then they kind of had the edge going into the spring season because they were already kind of tested. They already played some games. So I like that angle of it. I agree, like maybe they should have let them play some out of conference games. But you look across the country, and you see other conferences where some schools kind of did their own thing, the rest of them didn't. So now you have this just weird, unbalanced schedule where Central Arkansas played like two different teams, 2 different times. So 4 of their like 8 games were against like 2 opponents because they just wanted to get some games in. So it's just a hard thing, but at least the Big Sky Conference was unified in their leadership, and I do appreciate that. At least they made a decision and they stuck with it, and they made everyone stick with it as well.
Yeah, I don't have any other thoughts on that. Like I'm
No.
sorry.
I think it's a good time to transition to the first Golden Coolie question that we received. Man, that's good grammar. It is from Spring Creek Cat on the Bobcat Nation. He asks, if the spring season happens, also good topic, let's not get into that. How would you navigate the season? Would you play everyone and go all in, or would you use it like spring ball and play younger players and use it to create a depth chart? Feel it out. What do you think?
So at no point am I going to sacrifice playing our stars and put them in a harm's way where they could have a catastrophic injury and then be able to not play in 2021. When you listen to Jeff Choate, he did not mince words this whole year. He wanted to play in the fall. He's pissed about the spring season. I don't know if I literally don't think Jeff Choate wants to play the spring season, but he comes out and says, all right, tell us where to play. We're going to play you. We're going to kick your ass. And that's kind of his mentality right now. He's just a little bit pissed. I like that. However, to Spring Creek's point, I think, no, you don't play all your starters, all your Lewis Kids, your Troy Andersons, your your top level echelon guys. I think you treat the spring as, I don't know if you want to call it AAA or developmental league, but I think you give all the guys that have come to Montana State to play early playing time and just roll the dice with it. See where you're at. I mean, I don't think there's anything to gain. What if you do win a national championship in 2021 in this like little 6-week game or 6-game schedule? I don't know. I think you play.
You would not
guys.
celebrate that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, of course I would. And of course, and another thing, before I'll let you rebuttal on this, is like, what are the Grizz going to do? So if the Grizz come out and they go, we're going full force, we're going to play all of our starters, or we're going to play just like it is, like fall, and the Cats, what do the Cats do? Does Jeff Choate have to respond to that? Does he care? I don't know that. That's a question I have in my mind.
My question for you is, can Jeff Choate not try his hardest to win a game whether he wants to or not?
No, I don't think so.
Is that in his blood to not like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, that's the word I'm searching for, but like to give up. He's not going to quit. He's going to try and win the game. He can get all lip service he wants about, this is the fall is where we really want to put our emphasis and blah blah blah. But come game day, come game time, he's going to do everything in his power to win the game because that's just who he is.
Yeah, but he might do that with the guys that he chooses to put out there.
But is that trying your hardest to win if you're purposely not playing your best guys?
I don't think you can ask that. I mean, it's such a special it's such a special situation. Like, there's no way he's going to. I just don't think there's any way he's going to jeopardize like successive fall 2021 for spring 2021. Like, let's say, I mean, there is a for sure realistic possibility that there only might be 3 games that there can actually play.
Yeah. Although the vaccines are rolling out, so there is more hope than I had 3 weeks ago for this thing to actually be played.
I just don't feel like Jeff Choate's gonna take this that seriously.
So you're thinking we're down in Davis, we're losing 21-3 in the second quarter because we're playing our backups, and Jeff Choate are like, all right, get in there, just shoves a guy in the game because he's tired of losing 21-3.
I think that's a hard call to say. I don't know. I don't know that answer. I think we roll with the guys that we have out there, see what they're made of. I think this is I think if you're a red shirt right now, or if you're a young guy in the program, you're looking at this going, please just let this happen because I can have so much playing time, and you might find the diamond in the rough. I mean, this is such a cool opportunity to see what you got, to get some actual reps in the game. I mean, this is a gift for all these teams out there right now.
I mean, I'm basically arguing with you, or poking holes in your theory just to create some content here. But I do agree with you in the grand scheme of things. I do think it should be treated kind of like just seeing who guys are developing, kind of like you would in the out of conference in basketball. Like at our level, the Big Sky Conference basketball, the out of conference games are basically all just scrimmages. You're just trying to figure out who you are so you can go ahead and win conference and then go ahead and give yourself a chance to go to the big dance. This is kind of that way. You can see who you got, see what you're made of, get some guys some time, get your good guys. The obviously the starters get some reps too, but you're gonna get everybody some time. You're going to get a good read on a lot of the guys. I think that's how you approach it. You still absolutely try and win the game. And if it comes down to all of a sudden we're 3-0 heading into the Cat Grizz, even if we've been kind of not playing all the stars, not going full steam ahead, I think at that point you kind of like, all right, well, we're 3-0, we got a chance to run the table here. Let's put some more emphasis on that. So I think it kind of depends on how it goes to really adjust it as you go. But I think overall, yeah, it's kind of a season where you just kind of see what you have and build towards the fall.
I just don't think we're going to see the big names out there, even if we are rolling. I think we're going to beat the Grizz with our B squad, and then we're going to take it to the Eagles finally and give Aaron Best a bad ride home back to Genie. I love that.
So now you're talking about if we win a national championship, is it an asterisk next to it? Well, if we beat the Eagles this year, is there an asterisk next to that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and it takes a little bit of the vim out of it if that's the situation, but I would still relish in that quite heavily. Don't get me wrong.
We're going to be salivating because it's football, right? And it's Bobcat football. And we're going to be like, oh, I mean, we're going to be all in. But I think we're going to be all in at a different level too, because it's going to be like, man, we'll never get to see this version of the Cats again. It's going to be like a developmental program. It's going to be like a sneak peek of what's coming in the Cat program. At least that's what I predict.
It's going to be the first fall scrimmage after you haven't had any Bobcat football since any real Bobcat football since like November, December, whenever, and then maybe you had some spring scrimmages. But yeah, it's going to be that scrimmage where you're just super excited for anything at that point. Perfect segue into our second, and I believe we only had 2, right? Golden Coolie questions. Yeah. What are you most looking forward to the next time the Bobcats take the field? Everything. Colorado Cat, everything. I'm looking forward to watching a quarterback throw a football to a wide receiver and him catching it. I'm excited to see a guy get tackled. I'm excited to see us have a punt blocked in our face. I don't care. I'm excited to watch some football. It's been too long. I will enjoy every single football snap of that day, win or lose. Well, easy for me to say now. I might be going a little overboard here, but I'm just super excited to see some football. I'm excited to see anything.
Yeah, February 27th down in UC Davis, man. That's
February football.
What a game changer it would be to have an indoor practice facility right now, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, you got schools like Northern Arizona that can just do whatever they want. And then, yeah.
Yeah. Thorny, how big is if we go 2-0 March 27th and April 3rd, Grizz and Eastern back-to-back?
I don't know how big it is anymore because...
Yeah, right?
What are we doing? Are we starting? Thielen at quarterback.
I love how
you're starting your boy Tommy.
We're just gonna line up and kick your ass regardless, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna come down there and kick your ass.
I think the Cats are kind of at a point where they could beat some teams with playing pure second stringers.
Yeah, we're at a different level right now, man.
Maybe not Weber. So I'm excited. Yeah, to answer your Colorado Cats question with the final answer, everything. One word answer. That's an easy one. Good questions, guys.
Everything, yeah. Well, Spring Creek Cat has a golden coolie. I know that. I sent him one. He's down in Lewistown fishing those the Spring Creeks down there, throwing flies at those hungry trouts. I love that. So Colorado Cat, you're gonna get a golden coolie. Congratulations, man. Great question, and Thorny, even better response. Woo! Right on.
I don't know if anyone was expecting that. I have a new audio interface that has a soundboard, and I've been kind of waiting. Should I interject it? Should I do something stupid with it? There, I did it. I inserted some fake applause.
Oh man. Well, this has been fun, Ryan. It's been fun, man. Just bantering about football again. So why don't you take us out?
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. I'm glad to be back. I hope everyone's glad to have us back, too, just to be inching closer to that spring schedule. Give us a follow on Twitter at RRCatcast. You can check us out on our website, rrcatcast.com. Email us at rrcatcast@gmail.com. We're pretty consistent with that rrcatcast thing. We are, like you said, check out the other members of the Big Sky Podcast Network if you're looking for some other Big Sky news. There's lots of good content out there. And thanks again to Jeremiah Johnson for being our sponsor once again. And let's end this with a Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
All right. I got places to be.